excited to be celebrating International Women's Day 2021 with the incredible Spresa Vella. Spresa has been in the fitness industry for many years and has definitely elevated herself to leader status and basically a little bit of a groundbreaker as well. So welcome, Spresa. Thank you for joining me on this amazing day and celebrating women in the fitness industry, how far we've come, and I guess, what the future holds for us. So do you want to just tell everybody a little bit about how you got into the fitness industry?
Yeah, happy International Women's Day to all those amazing women out there, industry and non-industry. It's kind of it's a really special day because when you think about, as women particularly, how we did elevate ourselves or did become stronger or more resilient or more capable, it's a lot of that has to do with all the strong and amazing women I have around me. So there's definitely been days where you are not quite sure if you're heading in the right direction, and it just takes one shoulder to lean on, and then you find the strength to push through. And the industry is something we're also passionate about. It's been an absolute joy to have been able to carve out in an industry that you don't even question whether you should be a part of it or not. Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
So tell me a little bit about some of the challenges that you faced, or do you think you faced any being a woman in the industry?
I think we face challenges every day, but I was just very, very fortunate that I worked with a really amazing group of men and women that just created avenues for me to be able to explore my career. I mean, I was on the group fitness floor teaching for, probably the first 10 or 15 years of my career. And then I was fortunate enough to be asked to join the management team that brought the big box, large health club models out to Australia way back when. I mean, I'm talking probably 25, 30 years ago now. And that was a huge learning experience. And that was a very male dominated time. There was, we were owned by a South African company and they were very male heavy. But here in Australia, we didn't feel that so much because we had some strong women in the roles. Janet Leung was one of them. She was also a groundbreaker back then. And then, leaving that, I got the opportunity to be a national sales manager with the Macquarie Bank Group. And, I sat in board meetings, which was, again, all the directors were men, but they were, again, incredible men, asking really, really important questions when things didn't work and, encouraging you to learn from everything that you didn't maybe do as well as you could have. So did I feel it? There's obviously times where you probably might have questioned it, but it never, ever dictated whether I was going to, not move forward or not. Because I think with the right attitude, it doesn't really matter what gender you're in. Not in the fields that I've been playing in anyway.
And what do you think the right attitude is for those women who are coming up in the fitness industry now? What's an attitude that they could maybe start to cultivate?
Well, I think the most important thing is to, find out, I know this is going to sound as cliche as ever, but it's to find out exactly what it is that you are, what's the thing that makes you just want to get out of bed and drive your purpose. Because if we can understand what that fundamental need is, we're all empaths, so we all need to feel good about what we're doing. So, once you find that and you can drive and use a vehicle to drive that level of passion or purpose, then, you will be able to overcome obstacles. There's it's not easy out there, but you certainly can take your message and push it into the market. And I don't even know if it's about pushing it in the market. I think it's probably about surrounding yourself with like-minded people who want to instigate or initiate this kind of thinking. Because the one thing I've been trying to do is change the way we think about the industry and our members and our staff. And so that alone is an area that a lot of our, I'm not going to say a lot of our gyms or organisations don't want to know about, but it's a big shift to make because we do follow quite a traditional path when it comes to the industry and the way we communicate and develop our relationships with staff and members.
And so tell me a little bit about that kind of tap on the shoulder that you got to go from, working in group fitness to then kind of stepping up into management. How did that happen?
Well, that was really funny because when I got the tap on the shoulder, and it was Richard Chu with Healthland Days, he said, we're coming to Melbourne, and I'm a Melbourne girl, originally, and he said, we'd like you to, help head up the Victorian Melbourne division. I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds okay. I'm like, I'll have a look at that. So I I flew up to the first club that they ever opened, and I nearly fell off I walked in, I think I had to pick up my jaw off the ground because I was like, no, this isn't where it's going, is it? Walked into a 25-meter pool, and which was the reception area with a cafe, and back then it was gyms, it was kind of mums and dads kind of environments, or it was YMCA, or it was leisure. Yeah, so yeah, this was a whole new concept. So I to this day, phase of my career gave me a business degree because I was running businesses, but because outside of my group fit, I had some small businesses on the side, but that really dropped me into multi-level organizations with processes and reporting back to a board in South Africa. And yeah, it was remarkable. It was probably the most incredible from a development point of view, and also living from the ground up, I think gives you a much greater insight in how to help people move through some of those areas that they find challenging.
So were you prepared and pumped up for this? Seems like you had some businesses outside of Group X. So are you kind of always entrepreneurial? Have you always had that in your DNA?
So funny because my girlfriend said to me once, "Oh, you're an entrepreneur." I said, "Don't be ridiculous." I said, "They take risks." Yeah, like. And she said, "So what do you think you're doing?" And I went, "Oh, yeah, I suppose." I just kind of always equated an entrepreneur to opening up, 5 more shopping centres, or buying an island resort. But yeah, I think. So I still don't see myself as an entrepreneur. I think I'd rather see myself as a mindset. I want to reshape. When we love this industry as much as we do, I needed to reshape it from at least with the groups that I work with. It's about making sure that if we're going to work this hard, we keep our members and we keep our staff, because I think we've just missed some big chunks. And I wish I knew, some of this 15 years ago, but it's been those 15 years, 20 years is what's got me to this point. There's a level of insight now that only time and experience can give you.
Well, in terms of time and experience, I guess there's a lot of women out there who will be listening and maybe getting into the industry, and maybe they don't have that, and they may not be getting that tap on the shoulder, but they themselves may feel a little bit of ambition, but be apprehensive about that. And one of the big things with International Women's Today is to raise your hand, and that goes for asking for what you want, or asking for help, or asking to be seen, or asking to be heard. And for a lot of women, they may find that challenging. So what is it that you would kind of help instill in those women that maybe are intimidated to actually raise their hand?
Yeah, I think the first thing is don't ever work off a base of fear, because fear is paralyzing and it limits our belief in ourselves and everything around us. So if you're working off a base of fear, or fear of being judged or misunderstood, then you need to really clear that out and start to think about what it is exactly that you're trying to do and say and be. And none of it's easy. There hasn't been, even when I was rolling MEP out, and I kept thinking to myself, is this really it? Because I really believed in the concept of it, but I wasn't sure if it was actually going to work. The first 6 months it's in trial. And then the next 18 months, I continue to test it in different markets. But that whole time, when you're really passionate about something and you really want something to work, that's where your fears will often come up. And then you start questioning yourself and you wonder whether it's, it's, the right thing to do, and are you risking too much? Because, I put a fair bit on hold to get this going. But if you have a true belief in what you're doing, and you've got to tap into that, yeah, you allow yourself to dance around the fear, but you can't go in for the full waltz. Yeah, you just got to
I love
understand it's
that.
going to be there.
That's
Yeah.
so good. I love that.
Yeah, you can't go in and stay there, because then you won't get anything you want done, and you'll be clouded. Yeah, you just won't have the clarity that you need to just go through those, what we call, uncomfortable moments, which is all they are. They're not permanent, they're just temporary.
So how are they going to do that? They're maybe they want to pursue something, or they're passionate about something, and they want to put their hand up and ask for it, or ask to have their voice heard, and that kind of fear component kind of comes up. And I guess,
Of
in
course it
terms
does.
of, genders, women kind of biologically have a more agreeable traits, for various reasons. So
Yeah,
how do they overcome that fear? They're about to put their hand up and ask for something they want, but boom, here it comes. No, I can't do this. What
yeah.
could you say to
I
them?
Yeah, I think, what do you say? First, do a quick mind first do a quick mindset check, and ask yourself, is this real, or is this, my fear talking? And then, decide. Well, and also, this is really, really important. You just have to make sure you're surrounding yourself with people that aren't, because we all feel like one of the fears is your fear of being judged. Yeah. And so, are you projecting your own fear of being judged across to somebody else? Just because, you may have a fear of being judged doesn't mean that they're going to judge you that way. Yeah.
That's very good.
So, yeah, so you just need to look at it and go, is this my fear of being judged, or is this actually really going to happen? Now, if the person on the other end of that conversation has got history of this, or is
Mm,
generally like that, then you're probably
mm-hmm,
hitting off the right bat. But if you're
mm-hmm.
about to put your hand up, usually you put it up when you're feeling a little bit, my hand's up right now. Usually you put it up when you are feeling like you're a bit more confident to be able to step into that, next conversation, or have that next realm. And it's okay to get a no, you know.
Mm,
It's okay for somebody
mm,
to say, I've certainly had my no's, but it's a temporary no. And then you need to step back from that and go, okay, what else can I do to develop myself? Or what else can I do? What else do I need to understand? What knowledge do I need to create or develop, so that when I do put my hand up again next time, I am in the driving seat to be able to get what I want. Because it's
that
never
is
anybody else's fault.
amazing.
That's my, yeah. It's never everybody else's fault. It's actually, you can only own what you do and how you think and you feel. The rest, you have to give it back or let it go.
Yes, girl. Oh, that
Let
is
it go.
amazing. No, that is so
I mean,
good, Spree. I think our community, a lot of our students are mothers. A lot of our students,
oh,
have families and multiple commitments and are running businesses. So this is going to be like gold to them. Now, Spree, do you want to tell the community a little bit about some of the things that you do? And I'm also going to get some links to your website and everything, so people can get in touch with you.
yeah. The other thing I was going to say about that, Mel, before we
Mm,
kind of move on, is, the old adage, you can have it all.
mm,
I kind of don't beat that drum either, because I think, there will be sacrifices you need to make along the way, but they've got to be calculated, and they can't be at the expense of the things that mean the most to you, which for me, it's my family
mm,
and our lifestyle. And I'm happy to work hard.
mm,
But, there's days where I have to be completely present for my family, because I can get completely, sucked into the vortex of my world of work, and I can always find something else to do. Yeah.
mm.
So be present when you need to be present, and anybody who truly loves you will understand who you are. So they will appreciate what you're going through, or where you're trying to go, more importantly. I think I'm talking about my husband right now, actually.
I've
Yeah. He's a good man.
Oh,
Let me tell
he
you, he's
is a
put up with
good
a lot.
man. He is a good man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing, Spree. Thank you so much for your time. I know you've got to duck off. You've got probably like some back-to-back meetings happening today. I appreciate you taking this little moment of time out to connect with us and to acknowledge International Women's Day today. And, you know, hopefully for those women listening who maybe aren't so sure, you've given them a bit of confidence and some tips to feel better about putting their hand up and asking for and creating a life that is really true to their heart. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you. And absolutely, you know, you can't feel guilty about wanting to absolutely, you know, get as much out of as much out of your life as you want, and that includes your family and your career. And so and also, yeah, let go of the guilt. It doesn't serve anyone. But thanks, Mel. I'm so sorry. I've only got 4 minutes to go. I've got to head into the next one's actually a leadership session. So self-development
Amazing.
sessions.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
Right.
I really enjoy that role. All righty.
Thanks, Bree. And we'll have the links below for the video so you can get in touch with Spree. Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Mel. Bye.
Bye.